So Oli London is a transracial Korean.
I mean, you just said it straight up, but it's so funny.
Yeah.
I mean, yo, how?
How are we discussing this?
Yeah.
Right?
Dude, you see this guy's TikTok? Like, okay, so this guy's had a bunch of plastic surgery to look Korean. He doesn't even fucking look Korean at all. So he got this eye surgery.
He looks like a 40-year-old woman in Hollywood.
Yeah. He's just got that fucking duck face.
Yeah.
You know? And then he made this TikTok where he goes, Korean.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Genius Brain Podcast. How is everybody doing? We have our returning co-host, Ed Park VP today, everybody.
Cheers.
We haven't done a podcast like in 3 weeks. It's been a hot second. What have you been up to?
Well, I've been taking physical therapy.
Yeah,
right?
That's right.
Yeah. So like, I signed up for a gym finally, right? And I'm like, okay, it's summertime. It's time to start building like muscle. And you know, I got a pull-up bar at home, and I'm like, okay, let's do full body. And then I did leg day, right? And I did some squats and some Kegel exercises and stuff. And then I just felt pain all over like my waist, my balls, like, yeah, everything. Like my gooch was tight as fuck. And so I go see a doctor who recommends me to go see a physical therapist. And they're just straight up like, you know, you weren't supposed to have, you know, worked out, you know, your lower half there. Like you actually needed to give it rest. But I'm like, I never do leg workouts though, you know? And, you know, when we box, you can see my knees shaking because and I have no balance, right? And I was thinking, oh, I just need to strengthen my legs. But they were telling me is like, due to my high stress levels, apparently, I already had these crazy tight hammies and thighs and like basically my pelvic floor, you know? And they're saying, yeah, you need to rest first. And so for like a week, I'm like laying on my back, you know, and not sitting for long periods or whatever. And that's why I hit you up on that Instagram live. I was like, dude, what do I do if you can't do nothing? I was getting so depressed and
just
sad.
cry, bro.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's all I could do was lay around and cry. And like,
I can't believe it. He basically has no ass syndrome. Like that's really what it fucking is.
So, you know, I've been in production and I've been editing for the last
that's the worst.
16 years. Yeah. Right. So I'm just sitting for like 12 hours a day. But, you know, apparently my sitting posture isn't too great, but also, you know, I'd lost 100 pounds. So I have no cushion on my ass. And I guess I was just sitting on my tailbone.
Jesus, dude.
Yeah. So, you know, through the physical therapy, I've been learning new stretches. I do yoga. You know, I have to do the roller every day on my thighs. I got this new fucking mattress. I had to bring it here myself.
That's fucking
I got to take it with me everywhere. It's like, fuck, is this what getting old is? Like,
that's crazy. I've never heard of that before where you just develop a disappearing ass and then you sit on your tailbone. That's fucking painful, dude.
Yeah, it's been painful. And, you know, like, man, when, you know, you there are things you got to do, like, and a lot of it requires sitting, and then you got to change it up. Like, man, there was this like depression where it was like, man, I wanted to work out. I wanted to start getting big again. And, you know, because of, I'm like, you know, with keto, I was losing a lot of weight. Yeah. So I'm actually off of it now. Yeah. You know, and I've been having rice now and just staying gluten-free, not gaining weight either. Yeah. Yeah. And because I'm inactive, that's the weirdest part is how lethargic I am, but how tight my shit is. Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, I am getting better though. I am getting better, but then, you know, I need that Oprah Winfrey from you because I was like, I'm so sad.
Do you roll out too?
Yeah. Yeah. So my roommate has a roller and like hardly uses it. So I just started rolling like
your hip flexors and
ITB and inside literally my ass. And that's crazy. Like I can feel the bumps. Like, you know, like when I have knots in my back because of stress, I couldn't believe it. There's like knots in my legs, You know?
Yeah, that shit's fucking painful, dude.
Yeah.
One of the things that you can do too is, it's kind of controversial. Well, it's not really controversial. Asian people have been doing it for a very long time, but it's like Graston, right? Graston technique is basically gao sha. It's like it's an Asian technique, basically, where you'll see it like in different modalities, like when like Vietnamese people, and I think even Chinese people, they'll take a liquid like Tiger Balm, right? Which kind of inflames the skin. It gets really hot. And then they'll scrape. And so they'll scrape it with like a quarter or a spoon. And so what that does, it breaks up all your blood cells or whatever. And that bruising causes like listen, I'm not a scientist. This is right? So somebody can write the specifics of this, but basically it causes blood to go to that area and causes it to heal.
Right.
So it breaks down like scar tissue or whatever. And they'll do that at like physical therapy places that people do offer it. But they do it now with a metal bar. Well, they'll scrape your shit up. And it hurts like a motherfucker, right? But it does help, especially like with scar tissue. Because I actually just started to stretch out my knee now because I started jogging for the first time in 3 years. And that shit's scary because I tore my knee. So when you tear your knee, like you have this mental block. Like I cannot tear that shit again because when I tore my knee, I couldn't do anything. I had to sit on my ass and just cry. I had to sit there and just cry every day. Like I couldn't do anything.
Yeah, it's when you're trying to be active, right? But now just because of anything you can't control, you have to be physically inactive.
Yeah, so it's like, and it was stretching. Like I had to stretch my knee. It hurts so fucking bad. It still hurts now, but I had to stretch that shit all the time. It's night and day. Like before I go jog, if I don't stretch, I literally can't jog.
Right.
But if I stretch it out, I start doing my physical therapy stuff for it, then I could jog no pain.
Right.
But if I don't do that, it's fucking painful, which is so weird. Yeah. And like, I didn't fucking tell Mariel this, but it's been so fucking hot lately, right?
Yeah.
Because it's hot, we're in pandemic. I haven't really cared to dress in pants, clothes, or anything. Because why? What's the fucking purpose?
Yeah.
Where are we going? Yeah. Right? Well, I already didn't wear clothes in general, as it is, right? Well, now it's just gotten worse. Like now I'm just in my boxers in the house all the time. Doesn't fucking matter. I'm butt naked 24/7. Even some of the ads here, like people are like, why aren't you wearing a shirt? It's like, I don't know. Like I just don't. I'm in my house. Fuck, this is the worst. This is probably one of the most mortifying experiences that ever happened to me. So recently, Barbell Brigade, shout out to them. They sent me these shorts. They're called their amphibious shorts. They're light gray. Very fucking light. Feels like you're wearing absolutely nothing at all. Feels really fucking good.
I should get a pair.
Yeah. Problem is, they also feel just like my boxers, right? Okay. So I was at the gym, and the gym that I go to opened up a sauna.
You're right.
So before you go into the sauna, you have to switch out your clothes because you're going to soak through the whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
Right. So I, got a new pair of boxers, new shorts, new everything, whatever, whatnot, right? I go into the sauna, I sweat it all out. I switch out the clothes, I go out. I have to go to the grocery store. So I go inside the grocery store, right? And I'm walking outside and I'm like, damn, these fucking shorts feel like I'm wearing nothing at all, right? Yeah. Bro, I didn't realize I was in my boxers.
In public.
I went to the fucking grocery store in my boxers, went through the whole shit, got everything I fucking needed, checked out, and I was in my fucking boxers in the whole fucking grocery store.
Oh my gosh.
I had no fucking idea. But then I did realize people were fucking staring at me until after I was in the car.
You're like, damn, these Barbell Brigade, shorts are amazing. They got a dick hole and everything. So I
was like, I gotta do a story for them. I went into the fucking grocery store in my fucking boxers and a shirt.
Dude, that's terrible.
I can never go back in there. And nobody fucking said anything.
Oh my God.
I had no idea. Shout outs to Barbell Brigade, you fucking sons of bitches for making such a comfortable shorts. And the only reason why I got away with it is because I was wearing a long tee. So, and it kind of looks like running shorts because they're looser boxers. They're not like the tight, like athletic boxer.
Yeah.
So I think I got away with it, and people weren't sure if they wanted to approach me because they were a little longer and I was wearing a long tee. So you couldn't see the dick hole. Fuck, man. It was a Vons in Pasadena. I will never.
You can't go back.
Ever go back in there, dude. There's fucking children there. There's fucking.
Oh my gosh.
I had no fucking idea.
Well, speaking of exposing yourself in front of children. Did you hear about this shit at Wispa?
Oh my God. So listen.
All right. So what is Wispa? We should talk about it.
Okay. If you guys don't know, Korean people love getting naked in front of each other.
Yeah, that's a good premise.
Yeah, so we don't really give a fuck, right? So Wispa is a sauna or a sauna. You go in there, it's like a whole experience. You have the hot tub, right. You have cold water, you have the sauna, the earth room, the stone room, where literally it's clay beads.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to do a detoxifying thing. You could actually sleep at Wispa, and it's like one of the more commercialized locations where you could do a Korean sauna experience.
It's like $25 a day. Mm-hmm. Like you can be there as long as you want, right?
24/7.
Yeah. So like if just to get some more premise in there, like going to a sauna is so regular in Korean culture, right? It's not a class thing. It's like rich, poor, whatever. Like people go to, it's like a public bathhouse, right? But the way it is like you go through the lobby, and then there's the men's locker room and the women's locker room. And each of them have, the lockers, then you get buck naked. And then each of them have, like I said, a jacuzzi, showers, what do you call it? A temiro, where someone like scrapes off your dead skin, all that stuff. And then you can go upstairs, and there's different levels where there's now community space. Well, I mean, you get dressed up. They give you
a robe.
A robe, or their shirts and shorts, a towel. And then that second level, there's like a massage parlor, there's a restaurant, there's a mana check bang, there's a PC bang. And then there's just this community space where people watch TV. Like they love watching the World Cup there. Yeah. They love watching Dodgers game. There's a Korean pitcher, and then there's just different levels of public space. But that first floor is like, men's and women. But last weekend, there was some controversy. Yeah. I don't know. Did you read into all of that?
So I saw the video, right? And I didn't, because I looked at it so early, I didn't see a lot of the stuff that came out after it, right? But I did watch a few videos where it's so basically, we're just going to put it out right now. What it was about? There was a man who is he is transgender or transsexual.
I don't
know the discrepancy. I believe it's trans. He doesn't have the surgery done though.
No, yeah.
Right. So still has male genitalia.
He identifies as a woman.
Yes. And he considers
she identifies as a woman.
She identifies as a woman.
Yeah. By the way, full disclosure, we're new to this. We're gonna get the pronouns wrong.
So she identifies as a woman, but has male genitalia. Right? Decides that she is going to go into the female sauna.
Yeah.
She exposes herself to not only women, but young kids.
Yeah.
Has full male genitalia.
Yeah.
So a lady recorded the situation and she flipped out. Now, her issue with it, from what I was seeing in the video, she was like, I mean, whether or not she believes, people can be a man or a woman outside of their traditional gender roles or whatnot. I don't know if that's the case, but she was very upset because he exposed himself to little girls.
Yeah. It was a 9-year-old and a 14-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And this is the women's section of the place. So I guess the situation was he went to the lobby and he said, I identify as female or as a woman. Mm-hmm. And because of California state law, like Wispa can't discriminate against them, and was like, okay, like they just had to let her go through the women's area. And from, I guess, digging in, like what she was saying, like complaining to the lobby, is those poor, employees at Wispa, like
they don't know what the fuck is going on, man.
So I guess she came in and started undressing, and this woman was there with her daughter, and she just pulled her pants down.
This is such a weird thing to say. She pulled her pants down and whipped out her dick.
Yeah. That's pretty much
really, I mean, this is not me being hyperbolic. This is literally what happened.
This is new to us. This is like, so, I mean, the culture today is going to tell us what's wrong with that. But then for us, like, what would we do, really? I mean, what if this woman's reaction is her valid reaction was just that her daughter has never seen a penis before.
Yep.
Right. And that's her complaint. Like look, when I go to Wispa too, and I see some kids around, I'm going to go around the corner. I'm not going to fucking slang my shit around.
Yeah.
And the best I can do is like, you're going to see my crack.
Yeah.
Apparently this guy, full frontal just pulled it down in front of this child, and this guy, this woman, yeah, I guess the idea in her head is like, this is the new normal. There's nothing wrong with this. It is just genitalia, women or men or whatever. And so I guess that was the problem amongst some of the customers there. Like there was multiple people who went out to complain to the lobby. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was interesting too, because when I was watching the video, there was a guy saying, I don't find a problem with this either. Yeah. Right. Which, okay, this is the weird part for me, right? So I remember specifically on a JK News, right?
Yeah.
Where people were bringing up this slippery slope argument. This is when trans rights and stuff were a very hot topic, and it was brand new, and we were talking about this, and I thought it was ridiculous for somebody to bring up the slippery slope argument.
Yeah.
Right. And I can't remember which episode it was, whether it was a side conversation, but I do believe it was on camera. But we were talking about how people bring up these ridiculous examples of human beings that are going to walk into a sauna and just whip out their dick.
Yeah.
And it fucking happened.
Yeah.
And now I look like a fucking dumbass. I'm like, hold on a second. And the fact that this is an argument, somebody might have to explain this to me, because I don't understand. I don't think anybody here is arguing or saying that you can't identify as a woman.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody gives a fuck. Specifically in California, I think a majority of us don't give a fuck what you identify with. You can identify with a fucking dinosaur egg if you want. Like you say, I'm a dinosaur egg. I'm like, all right, Yoshi, get the fuck out of here. I don't give a fuck. But I do have a problem when you expose your male genitalia to young women, when i.e. for one, that kid never seen male genitalia before. Mm-hmm. Parents never had the conversation with them about it. And for that person to make a stance that this is the norm. No, that's the norm for you right now. Yeah. It might be the norm maybe 10, 15 years from now, but that's not how it is now.
Well, I mean, it started with the bathroom situations, right? Yeah. Where even then I was like, yeah, let them use the women's bathroom, because they're not there to be fucking degenerate, pedophile, whatever. Yeah. No, I don't believe that either. They need to use the bathroom, right? So they should have the right to use the bathroom. And so when these bathroom laws started coming up, what happened? They made all gender neutral bathrooms, right? So they facilitated for these situations, right? How are you going to ask Wispa to make an all gender neutral locker room? Yeah. A gender neutral sauna? Like it's been built there for years. Yeah. You only have 2 spots. Yeah. Right. And so I see the problem was that they were like, oh, then we'll enact the law and then things will work itself out. But it's like, no, it's not the same as just bathrooms at all. You know, this is a situation where you expose yourself. This is a very tight cultural thing. This is a level of comfortability for a lot of people, because you're not in the bathroom just taking everything off. You're in your stalls. Yeah. And you do your business and you go. It's going to take a minute or two at max.
Yeah. And the thing is too, it's like, I think for me, when I think about it, and I'm also trying to be careful with the things that I say, because I'm not trying to be dismissive of how anybody feels. Yeah. But at the same time, I'm not bringing up religion into this. I'm not talking about, like religious abominations. I don't give a fuck about any of that shit. I don't give a fuck.
We're trying to look towards the future. Yeah. We're trying to find a solution. Yeah. The problem being, this was a fucking shit show. Yeah. Right?
It was fucking nuts. And so what happened a day after was that there was a minor protest at first, right? There were people boycotting Wispa. Yeah. Now, albeit some of the people that were boycotting Wispa were probably not the best representation to represent this matter, because it was a religious thing for a lot of people.
There were the people who are even at movie theaters, at concerts, at the street corners, but those signs like repent or burn in hell. It was those types of people that were protesting in front of Wispa.
And it was not. And here's the thing too. If we want to go ahead and talk about the idea of protests, right? Peaceful protesting, I'm all about it. I don't have to agree with what you say, but that's the part about being an American in a country that's supposedly supposed to be free. Yeah, you are allowed to protest. You are allowed to say how you feel, as long as it doesn't hurt somebody else, right? So if you want to go ahead and be a dumbass and bring up your little sticks or whatever and say some stupid shit, but you're not touching people, you're not being aggressive towards people, and that's what it is. You can disagree with it all you want. Well, this situation got a lot worse because
really fucking worse. It always gets worse.
Yep. Anti-protesters came out And apparently, from what people are reporting, it's Antifa people,
Yes,
right?
it was Antifa straight up.
You know, some people are saying like, oh, how do you know? Well, they had the symbols and everything. Like, if you look at the photos, clearly they are Antifa.
Yeah, they were all blacked out. They were covering their faces.
Yeah, this is not an opinion.
Organized.
They were Antifa, right? Yeah. Which is also not a great representation of people who are more liberal.
Right.
Right. So you have two people on extreme sides that are representing a very sensitive matter that are too far left and too far right. Yeah. Right. They come together. What the fuck is going to happen? People are going to clash. Now, the weird thing that happened, especially like in California, right? I think everybody is so scared of hurting people or doing something wrong in a social sense that even the cops are now fucked up, right?
Yeah.
There are clear videos of Antifa protesters going up to these other people who are protesting. And once again, this is not me agreeing with those protesters at all, but people have a right to protest as long as they're not fucking shit up and they're not being aggressive and hurting people.
Yeah.
Well, Antifa comes in and they start fucking these people up.
Dude, they were socking him in the face. They were tearing down their shit. They were ripping their shit up. They were stealing their like sunglasses and shit, spraying each other with pepper spray. It got violent. It turned into a riot.
Extremely violent. And the crazy thing is, as I'm watching these videos, these people who are in Antifa, right? Anti-fascist is what it's shortened for, right? Yeah. It's the longer version of what Antifa is. They're recording it as if what they're doing is okay. Yeah. They go, can you believe these fuckers? They sock them in the face. It's like, well, hold on a second. When did this become okay? Right?
Yeah.
And I think I got really disappointed when the cops came in. There was a video of this Asian dude, right? And he has like this rooftop Korean
shirt I saw that one too.
Right? This girl comes in and kicks him in the fucking nuts. Yeah. Right? He pushes away and swings his bottle at her. Right? Hits her in the fucking head. Yeah. And you hear the people on Antifa going like, can you believe this guy hit a woman?
Yeah. Like, what? Yeah, I was watching like, dude, these fucking idiots, like you fucking manipulative, terrible people.
Manipulative is a really good word for them.
It's just like, what are you fighting for? So I was looking at it kind of just trying to step out of the box, look at it as if it's in a jar. And, you know, these right-wing protesters weren't exactly protesting Wispa, though. They weren't protesting the business. They were adamantly, vehemently calling transgender people like abominations, sinners, and that they're burning in hell, and then pointing everything towards God and Jesus, right? And so in their head was just like, keep family safe, keep the children safe. In their head is that they think they're helping Wispa.
Yeah.
Right? By the way, none of them were Korean.
Yeah.
Right? And then you see Antifa. What are they protesting? Like, you know, yes, transgender rights. You guys are bigots and da-da-da-da. You know, everybody should be allowed to go to this business. So none of them are actually protesting Wispa, but who loses? Wispa.
Exactly.
Nobody fucking wins in the end.
Like I said, it was the worst representation about a matter, about a very sensitive subject from two extreme sides that had no solution to it. It was people coming through to fuck somebody else up. And there was a group of people who were religiously pious that didn't give a fuck about the actual problem at hand. Yeah. It was an adult that exposed male genitalia to a bunch of women and children, right?
Yeah.
That's where the issue becomes at hand. But these people weren't even thinking about that. They were thinking about you guys, you, let me tell you something, you little faggots are going to burn in hell. You little fucking sinners and abominations, you sodomites, all you are going to fucking burn. Yeah. And these people come through. It's like, well, it's all about trans rights. It's like, that's not even the subject matter either. And so you think it's okay for you guys to come through and just start beating the shit out of people. Like and the cops just watched. They literally just watched.
And then like towards the end, fucking Antifa got a dumpster and lit it on fire. Like, how was that helping anyone? There was a fucking burning dumpster. They put it in the middle of the street.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Save the earth.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, what the fuck? Transgenders have rights like us. And like burn a dumpster. What the fuck is that gonna do?
And there, you know, as society, whatever, you know, depending on anybody's opinion, you know, progresses or degresses or whatever, this is going to be a gray area that has to be accounted for, right?
Yeah.
The weird thing is people don't care about the adjustment period. Yeah. They just want things to change right now.
But so here's the thing though, the law against discriminating against transgender people was 2 steps ahead of what society is ready for, or what businesses are ready for. Now let's take it way back towards segregation, right? Where there was segregated water fountains, segregated restaurants, segregated buses, all of this, right? Here's the thing. All of those things were facilitated to accommodate everyone.
Yeah.
It was just a man-made rule to separate them. But once that law came to pass, everybody could ride the same bus. Everyone can drink from the same fountain. Everyone can be in the same restaurant. It's not like, oh, this law passed, now I have to build a second restaurant.
Yeah.
It wasn't like that. The problem with this law, I'm trying to be careful with my language too, is that, it is 2 steps ahead because, how do you not discriminate against transgenders at a spa where you're supposed to be naked? You know, when nothing facilitates that so far except telling people you need to accept this now.
Yeah.
And so now we got to wait for society to be like, oh, it's okay to look at dicks. It's okay to look at, this. So, I had to look at it another way too. If I was in the male locker room, right, and Elliot Page came in, and then started undressing, I wouldn't have a problem with it, I was thinking, And I had to check myself then. If I was a woman and I saw, a lady with a penis coming out, would I have a problem with it? Or would I have to be like, well, that's society now? I had to think about it. I would have
a problem with it if my son was there.
Right.
That's
exactly
the thing. That's probably the biggest thing for me, right? I think that, but there's also this discrepancy in what makes a woman safe versus what makes a guy safe.
Right.
Right. And I think that's a lot of stuff that people tend to ignore. Mm-hmm. It's like when we flip the script on ourselves, right? I think the issue that maybe women can probably chime in on this too, it's a matter of safety, right? It's how safe do we feel? Do I feel safe as a 215-pound Korean dude that boxes?
Yeah.
That when a woman comes in naked, is something going to happen to me? Absolutely not. No. The worst thing that's going to happen to me is my dick's going to get hard.
Yeah.
And it's going to get a little awkward.
Then you'll be like, I'm discovering something new about myself.
Yeah. Right? And that's my fear.
Yeah.
Right? When a woman, and I feel that when women are in a locker room, right? And this person too, let's just say in this scenario, the guy is, or the woman is actually not a transgendered person. Mm-hmm. And this person is, I don't know, a pervert, right? I'm not saying that's what it is, but this is what people might feel. Right. There's a level of safety involved. Do these women feel comfortable and safe with a man walking in and exposing his genitalia? Yeah. I think gender-wise, when we're talking about this in terms of like heterosexual construct, I'm not scared of a woman coming in naked into my spot.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm concerned is that if you are a full-grown woman, naked as fuck, and then my child who's like 5 years old sees a naked woman, and then he has to go ahead and think about these feelings before I even had a conversation about how he feels about this. Yeah. That's where it becomes a little different,
So we got to take this with like a grain of salt because we weren't there, obviously, but by the account of the people who are complaining was that he was standing right next to these children and exposed, or she was.
Yeah,
and exposed her penis.
Yeah.
Right. And this other part is also just hearsay because it was off of a Yelp review about Wispa. I don't know if you read this, where a woman wrote how she recognized this person, like she's seen her before. It's only that last week where it just came to a head, and it was just this huge problem, where a lot of other women there has seen her before and left her alone and didn't have a problem with her, but in her account or review, so this is hearsay. This is all alleged.
Yeah.
That this woman would just talk to other women right next to them in the showers and just have conversations. But what she would talk about would be like, yeah, I still have sex with other women. Yeah, I still date women. Yeah, I've had sex with so many other women. Those kind of things. And it was just like, okay, or whatever.
Yeah.
And I guess that's where they were saying like this person, like this individual myself is like, I guess what I had to really think about was just the fact that this became a problem because this was this individual act, and for me, it kind of just screams like the Fallon Fox situation.
Yeah.
That transgender MMA fighter.
Yeah.
Where it was just a load of narcissism. Mm-hmm. It was just a load of what about me? and now I want an opportunity. Now I should get my chance. Now,
Yeah.
This is me, and like forcing her upon, like acceptance.
Yeah.
To be like, now you got to accept me, and putting themselves in this situation for this to happen.
Yeah.
So that's where I was like, it seemed like there wasn't a problem until this specific situation.
Yeah.
Where they weren't mindful of the people around them. It was no, fuck you, I'm me kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's the adjustment period where it's like,
This podcast is brought to you by Skillshare, my friends. Skillshare is something that I use all the time. Is there something that you have out there that's a hobby, or maybe it's even a side hustle that you want to work on? Well, you don't know where to get that information, and you don't have good mentors to teach you how to do the things you want. Well, guess what? Sign up for Skillshare. They have everything that you need for that skill that you want, baby. So what is Skillshare exactly? Skillshare is an online community that offers membership with meaning. It's way more affordable than in-person classes. These online communities allow you to learn at your own pace, however you want. It's something that I really enjoy. I am taking a course right now by Marcus Brownlee, one of my favorite creators on YouTube, that teaches me how to script and rewrite all my stuff on YouTube. And I've been doing this for a long time, but it's always great to learn from people who are doing it better than me, because it's all about sharpening my skills on Skillshare. So explore your creativity at Skillshare.com/brain and get a 1-month free trial of premium membership. That's 1 month of a premium membership at Skillshare.com/brain.
you're forcing people to accept this when it is just so new.
Yeah.
No one has an education on this.
Yeah.
Nobody knows how they're supposed to accept it.
Well, it happened a while back too, where we were on a Just Kidding News, and there was somebody in the trans community at the time, and this was like 10 years ago, right? Where I think a lot of these topics or subjects in terms of what trigger words are and what words specifically as descriptors are offensive wasn't really known to a lot of people. Even people in California, as quote unquote progressive it is here, right? And we said the word tranny, right? I had no fucking idea, and none of us on JK News knew that tranny was an offensive term.
Right? I remember that.
I had no fucking idea. And this person went on this tirade about how we're anti-trans, we don't respect people. It's like, well, hold on a second. All you could have said was, hey, tranny is actually an offensive term to people in my community, so be a little careful. You know what we'd have said? Oh shit, we had no idea.
Right.
I'm sorry. But instead, like, that adjustment period is also important, right? Because people just don't know, right? And also too, when people do things, sometimes they forget that this world is a lot bigger than the city that they live in, right? How you feel about what happens here in LA, people are going to feel different about that in Louisiana, Texas, Florida, I don't know, Delaware, Colorado, wherever the fuck it is, whatever state or city that you live in. And so there is an adjustment period. There's a part where you do have to explain this. Like, oh, well, I'm tired of explaining. Well, guess what? A lot of the stuff that you are afforded right now in terms of freedoms and stuff like that was happened because there was other people who are also tired of explaining their shit all the time, but they had to do it in order for you to have the life that you live, right? That's what it is. If you really do care, then you do have to be a pioneer, and you do have to go ahead and allow people to learn. Because if not, if you just start attacking people, people will shut down. When have you ever cared to listen to somebody when somebody screams at you?
Right.
Nobody.
Because the other end of that would be their emotional response was like, fuck you, I've been using that word my whole life. I mean, like there was a situation with people in Georgia and Florida, like South Florida, I guess specifically, where the word gook means something totally different to them out there. It's more or less, oh, you're a loser, you're a gook. And they had no idea it was a derogatory term for like Asians or Koreans. Right. And then I think you had a Twitter interaction too, or with someone who was just like, oh, I didn't know. Well, I'll stop using it now, I guess.
Right? Well,
it was just that simple.
It was that boxer kid. Actually, I don't even know what he does, but he was the one that boxed Logan Paul. Oh, no, Logan Paul or Jake Paul. It was KSI. And one of his wrongs, he was calling people gooks. But I guess over there, it means the same thing. It doesn't mean an Asian person. It means like a loser. But I was like, the fuck? I'm still going to be offended by that shit. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? And then people were like, you don't fucking know anything. That means a loser. I was like, oh, so you could say that about the N-word too. You can say that about just about anything.
You'd be like, oh, to us, it means this or whatever.
That's cool.
And then that becomes, like I said, a self-centered kind of idea is just like my freedom,
Yeah.
what it means to me and my individualist or whatever. But there's a thing about being part of this country and this melting pot is that, man, as a society as a whole, there's a whole lot of cooperation that needs to go through. But we're just so naturally tribalist.
I wonder too, when somebody says like, when these people who are on Antifa, right, which I do generally believe that a majority of them just like to be angry and this is their reason just to fuck people up. That's just who they are.
Yeah.
They come through, right, and they scream these words like this is what a lot of people do. They go, trans are people too, right?
Right.
Nobody's saying that they're not.
Yeah.
But they'll use these trigger phrases and words to make the situation a lot worse than it is and make people feel a certain way about stuff, even though that is not the issue at hand.
Yeah.
So they'll say hot shit like that. Like, you need to start treating people in the transgender community as humans. Nobody is arguing that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, who's arguing that?
Because now they're putting the precedent that, oh, you are a bigot.
Exactly.
You're automatically bigot. You've been a bigot your whole life.
It's as stupid as this. It's like, dude, I fucking hate ramen, so you fucking want to kill Japanese people. That's a proper
Right.
equivalency.
Right.
That is what they do really, really well. They
Yeah.
like to fuck shit up like that, right? People do this false equivalency shit all the time. You see it on Twitter, social media, and YouTube, and now people are doing it in person. It's fucking insane. Like, you can't have those two things are not the fucking same. And that's the weird part about it, right? And so when they hear this stuff, like, I wonder why, maybe somebody can clarify this too. Is it not a general consensus that an adult who has male genitalia shouldn't expose it to children? Or is there a fat group of people who are like, there's no problem whatsoever. I should be able to walk outside and show my dick to a little girl.
Right.
Because that's really what it is.
Now where's the line? Like, even with these separate locker rooms, it is like a fine line of respecting one another.
Yeah, there's
not
still
harassing
rules.
another. You know, even in a men's locker room, I don't want some stranger like cisgender male swinging his dick in my face.
Yeah.
There's still a level of
Rules.
respect and rules. Like, yo, you're harassing me.
Yeah.
You know, and I guess that was the issue. Was like, this guy was like, you know, just putting himself out or herself out there.
Yeah.
You know, just in front of children, which
As
is
if it's
like,
as if it's a societal standard that everybody is going to understand. You know, there's a little bit of grace that people have to have when it comes to these situations. It's a very, very sensitive topic.
Yeah.
It's weird, man. But this is the stuff too, where just like, do I need to fucking move out of this city? Like, what the fuck is going on? Right.
now you just need a gender neutral sauna.
Yeah.
You know, someone's going to have to put up the money to do that. Now
Yeah.
the businesses have to come up with that because these saunas don't facilitate for these things.
Yeah.
You know, actually, my ex actually told me this story. She used to work at a sauna in the East Coast. And she told me a situation where this trans woman came in and was just upfront like, I'm transgender and I want to use the women's locker room. And she was like, well, 1 second, you know, and just kind of saw what would happen. Like, there just gonna might be a shit show. She's like, no, I have the right to go to the women's locker room. I am a woman. And she had to think fast. It was like, well, we actually have private saunas, you know, luckily, that where it costs double. It's usually meant for couples or whatever. And instead of charging her double, it was like, we'll charge you just, you know, the half fee, you know, and you can use the private space. You know, you can have a tub all to yourself. You can have all of these facilities all to yourself, you know, so it doesn't disrupt, you know, the other customers, you know. And she was like, reluctantly took it. But then after she got naked, she came out and was naked, walking around like saying, no, I'm supposed to go in the women's locker room, and was making a fuss. And she had to like get up and like to block her and whatever, and was like calling her a bigot and all these things. And she was just there to start some shit.
Yeah.
All of this does is causing conflict. All this did was just make it a terrible situation for everyone but her, you know.
It's weird. Like I was saying before, it seems like the people that get highlighted in these communities, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's, you know, and any kind of hot topic, it's always people who are on the extreme end.
Yeah.
It's never somebody who can sit there and explain their position in a way that'll help people understand.
Yeah.
It's always somebody who does something that's very self-serving.
Yeah.
Right? It's like making a scene, getting super angry. I mean, how different would it have been if they had a conversation, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe, I don't know what the outcome would have been, but it would have helped out in a better way.
Yeah.
Right? Where conversation can lead to a better understanding.
Yeah.
And a lot of people who are highlighted in the media, highlighted in the news, aren't people of those communities, you know, and it kind of sucks. Because we all eat, like, even in our situation, right? Like, I say this about Asian American shit. It's like the people who are so outspoken and so gung-ho about shit are the people I fucking hate. It's like, I do not want you representing my community. You're a fucking trash bag.
Yeah, I don't like some of the people or some of the, Instagram pages that just seem to represent all Asians. It's just like, that's not what we're about either.
Bro, if I listen, I ain't no fucking snitch. You know what I mean? But I'll tell you this, man, if I told people online, half of these fucking Asian celebrities who are using this Asian hate stuff just as a platform to get their voice out so they can book more auditions and get a bigger following, you wouldn't even fucking believe it, because I already know 80% of people out there who are even listening to this could probably fall into this too.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not 80%. That's a little high. Maybe like half. Right. And I understand. Right. I get it. But like, I'm not going to say this name, but there was a very popular Asian celebrity that we all know, and I'm pretty sure all you guys know, had to do a PSA for this Asian American thing, right? It was filmed. There was a group of people, everything for it, right?
Yeah.
This person is very, very much in the forefront about how society today basically demasculates a lot of Asian men, and how media and how social media even go ahead and, makes Asian men seem to be inferior and weak. It's been spouting about this shit for fucking ever, right? Especially when the Asian hate stuff came on, he started putting it on even more. Now, this person gets called to do this PSA. Now, I've heard about this through multiple people that were also on this project with this person.
Yeah.
And he decided not to put this video out. And they were wondering why. And they found out it's because he wasn't one of the top billed people in the group of people who did this.
Oh, great. Because he didn't come on first or something?
Literally, that's what it was.
Oh, my God.
And decided that this person wasn't going to promote it.
Oh, jeez.
This is how ridiculous people are in their social justice shit. A lot of that stuff is self-serving and it doesn't go anywhere.
It's not about him.
It's not.
It's not about me. Yeah. So fuck it.
Exactly.
What? It's about other Asians too?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
He's probably like, stop my hate, stop you from hating me, not the Asian community. Yeah.
Like, what do you think cancel culture is about, right? You think a majority of cancel culture is about stopping stuff that's an injustice? Or do you think it's about the individual that gets their fucking jollies off of canceling somebody because they feel a certain level of power that they got to cancel somebody? Yeah. I have that power. Tomorrow you won't get to feed your family. You can't make a single paycheck. I did that shit. Yeah. I did this. I was at the forefront of this. It's so self-serving.
Yeah. I mean, well, I see a lot of people jumping on it. Like, like I said, all those people I went to church with who didn't do a goddamn thing about me posting every week of my assaults, of the harassment I was getting and all these things. They didn't give a shit. But then when the hashtag Stop Asian Hate started going on, all of a sudden they're posting all about it. And I was getting pissed off like, yo, you guys didn't even stand up for me. But now that it's popular, you guys, are out there on it. And like when it's a trend, I start seeing it as people who are trying to find a purpose in their life now. Yeah. Like the whole thing with me going out to like Iraq or Haiti and Japan and doing these missions was because at a young age, I was looking for this purpose in my life. And I found it in going out into the world and quote, making disciples and quote, like doing humanitarian work. And I was putting all of that passion into that. Well, a lot of people don't get that in their young part of their lives. But then when all of society are now jumping on the train of this, they're like, that's it. This is it. This is the meaning of life. This is how I can actually do something about it. And then, but then what are they doing? in reality, just hashtag something.
Well, exactly. Like, and I've had to roast people in comments who came at me. They're like, what are you doing for the community? I was like, do you know who the fuck I am?
Yeah. Or what have you been doing
for the past 12, 15, 20
Seriously.
years? Who the fuck are you? It's like, you literally just came on the scene because now it's really cool to do it. Now you don't have to take shit for it.
Yeah.
I had to take those fucking bullets in order for you to do this stuff.
Yeah.
So because I don't do it on your schedule, suddenly you get to go ahead and pipe up towards me. Sit the fuck down. You don't get to say shit.
No, it's because they feel like they have a purpose now, right?
Yeah.
They feel empowered. Oh, now I can show up David So.
Yeah.
Because he ain't doing shit. Like, what?
They love the power. They want that little fucking Pokemon badge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they took the gym leader down.
Yeah.
I mean, I did it, you know?
Yeah, it's like, but he's one of your own kind, motherfucker. You're on the same team.
Exactly.
You know?
And the funny thing is, and I've wrote about this too, it really feeds into the idea. They don't even understand. It feeds into the idea and that negative stereotype that Asian people are weak. Because instead of going ahead and attacking people, or confronting people who really do need to be confronted because that's an uncomfortable situation.
Yeah.
You rather do it to people who look just like you because it's more acceptable, because it's comfortable. So it makes you look weak.
Yeah.
You are feeding into our stereotype.
And that's why it's...
This podcast is brought to you by Purple, my friends. Are you sleeping on a piece of crap every day? That's because you don't have a Purple mattress and you don't have Purple products. I feel sad for you. In fact, I hate your filthy guts. If you want me to like you, you have to cop yourself a Purple mattress or a Purple pillow or a Purple seat cushion, whatever gets you to feel really good. Now, I have been sleeping on a bag of crap for a majority of my life until I had my Purple mattress. We're talking about technology with the grid that keeps you nice and cool at night because your boy sleeps hot. We're talking about conforming to your nooks and your crevices in your body to make your back feel good. A majority of your hours are actually spent sleeping, my friends. That's 7 to 8 hours every day for the rest of your life, so you might as well be comfortable while you do it. So my Genius Brain listeners, Purple is comfort reinvented. Right now, you'll get 10% off any order of $200 or more. Go to purple.com/brain10 and use promo code brain10. That's purple.com/brain10, promo code brain10 for 10% off any order of $200 or more. Purple.com/brain10, promo code brain10. Terms apply.
It's all this false sense of justice.
Yeah.
It's not fucking real, especially if it's on social media, you know, because you're not actually creating anything. You're not actually making any real steps.
Yeah.
Instead, you're talking to a guy with a bigger platform and saying, you're not doing enough.
Yeah.
Motherfucker, what are you doing?
Yeah. Besides attacking somebody who's going through the same shit that you're going through.
Yeah.
Like, how the fuck does that make you a better person, man? It's just a weird space to be in, man. Like I'm not saying that all activism is completely self-serving. There's a lot of people doing a lot of great stuff, but it is a trend. And I think that a lot of people can agree that we have been seeing. So sometimes people get sick of seeing it all the time.
Yeah.
Where we see so much self-righteousness. We see so much like patting themselves on the back. It deters me from wanting to be a part of that group. Right. Because now I don't even know why people are doing it. It's like, do you actually care?
Yeah.
Right. I'm not saying that you have to go out there and protest too, but a lot of the stuff that we're doing is easier just to do it online and do a hashtag than actually going ahead and being a part of the solution.
Yeah.
Right. No matter what that is, I don't have to go ahead and post every time I have a conversation about somebody who says something that was extremely offensive to me. I just went ahead and dealt with it on the spot.
Yeah.
And that's it. And I try to change that person's mind. I don't have to go ahead and have a megaphone and shout it out to everybody about every single fucking good deed that I did.
Yeah.
I just have to go ahead and enact positive change. That's it.
It just it exposes internet warriors because it really enables the people to have the power to actually type something.
Yeah.
Now I can say this out loud. Are you really actually saying it? Like you said, are you actually confronting that, you know, shitty coworker who's always asking you for soy sauce? Which I've had, man. Like one of my old jobs, holy shit, like 3 people came to me at my desk like, hey, do you have any soy sauce? What the fuck? Why would I have soy sauce at my desk? You know, that kind of shit.
What the fuck? Do you have mayonnaise on you, bitch?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'd confront and actually do something about it then and there, you know? When something racist is fucking happening, actually standing up for something. Except people kind of get at a loss for words when they actually have to confront somebody. It's like, man, you guys need some fucking practice.
Yeah.
You know, this typing it out and saying your thoughts is not real. It's still ones and zeros. It's all information in the matrix. It's just on the internet.
Yeah.
You know?
people's social acuity has gone down a lot, especially because of pandemic. So all these bad habits that we had of being antisocial, not bad habits, let's say not practicing a habit that could be beneficial for us in the future in terms of being like personally, being personable, has dwindled so much because now people didn't have to be. It's worse now. Like I've talked about this even when I was doing the Instagram lives. These kids are dealing with these issues of kind of re-socializing. They don't know how to do it. Right. Yeah. It's easier for somebody to be tough online because they can't do it to that person face to face. Right. And it happens so fucking often. And it's weird. And I don't even know how to reintroduce people to this. It's like, how do I let you know, or how do I get you to stop being such a bitch? Right.
Yeah. You
stop being an internet tough guy.
Yeah.
Stop being an internet fucking know-it-all.
Yeah.
How do I get you to transfer that type of knowledge and that type of like gusto and confidence in real life? How?
It only happens when they themselves get canceled because they fuck up once. Yeah. Right.
And they don't even understand that the difference between them and a celebrity is that their fucking skeletons in their closet are exposed to everybody else, but yours doesn't because you're a nobody.
Yeah.
No, and not a nobody as in like you don't matter, but as in a nobody in the social space. Yeah. Like you could say all the pious bullshit that you want and nobody gets to call you out on it because nobody knows who you are.
Right. Like if 1 million people started digging through your shit, you know, like what are they going to find out about you?
Yeah.
Too, you know?
You know, I talked about this where there was remember that kid who did the Asian dress thing, you know?
Yeah.
And this fool was saying the N-word with the hard R 24/7. Motherfucker, that word was glued to his mouth. But he was talking about racism, the audacity of this human being. But that is a majority of people who do that.
Yeah.
The fucking skeletons in your closet are fucking ridiculous. You have a cemetery in there, but nobody's snooping around to find your fucking dirt. So be careful about how you point that finger at people sometimes, right?
It's a dangerous game because it's one strike, you're out.
Yeah.
You know, but then, you know, it's like alluding to, you know, baseball analogies. It's like everybody has a chance to step up to the plate, you know, but you only get one swing. You only get one swing. And if you fuck this up, then, you know, you're literally out of it forever, you know? And so there's this social anxiety with that too. Then people have to show up and come up and be perfect. And that's why the way people represent themselves on social media is so entirely fake. Yeah. Because they just can't, you know, nobody can know about the mistakes they've ever made.
And who's really out there doing the due diligence in terms of finding either remedies for a lot of these terrible situations, or even going out there and getting to know certain people in a community that you have a hard opinion about, right? Like for me, for example, in terms of trans rights and stuff, I went out and I was searching for people who wanted to be on this podcast who's trans. Yeah. Because I want to know, number one, what it feels like.
Yeah.
What type of emotional turmoil they've gone through, what it feels like for them to identify as a gender that they felt that they were their whole life. I'm so curious about this stuff, right? And I actually went back and forth with somebody online about the situation. And this is just one person, right? And I'm not basing my opinion on just what one person told me.
Yeah.
But this person also agreed that it was wrong for her to go ahead and expose the male genitalia to these kids.
Yeah.
Right. And this is a person who's also trans. So there's even a spectrum inside that community, right? Because when we watch the news and we see this person who is a representative of the trans community in LA say like, this is an act of violence towards our community. Well, there's somebody who I had a conversation with that doesn't agree with that. That's also trans.
Yeah.
Right. So
it's like they put themselves in a situation to be the spokesperson, even though where their opinion, you know, right or wrong, is only just one side of a story.
Yeah, and this person, by the way, is trans from woman to male.
Yeah.
So, you know, having that conversation, and I just asked, like, what is your perspective on this? Like, and they didn't agree with the whole exposing male genitalia to young women like that. Like, he didn't agree.
Yeah, I mean, even, like I said, even as cisgender people, it's not right. But what we're trying to understand is, how is it now okay just because now you're trans?
Yeah.
You know, like the same, that's why I brought up Fallon Fox. Like the amount of people who are just like, let her compete, or all trans women in sports, right? Like I'm on the edge of like, I don't know. I don't think they should. I don't think it's fair.
Yeah.
You know, like in New Zealand right now, there was a powerlifter who made the New Zealand women's powerlifting team. She is 41 years old.
Wow.
She's had decades of experience powerlifting as a man.
Oh, you're talking about this is somebody who was in the trans community.
Yeah. And now she's going to Tokyo representing New Zealand as a powerlifter. She's 41 years old when the average age for these powerlifters is like 21 to 24. And apparently there's this Polynesian girl who was up there. It was going to be her year, you know, to do it. But then this much bigger, stronger transgender woman took her spot.
Yeah, no shit.
At 41 years old, you know?
Listen, I don't even understand the argument behind that, right?
Yeah.
Because now we're going into like facts and science. This person for their whole life benefited from having male testosterone, which clearly better for building muscles.
Yeah, bigger bone structure.
The bone structure and bone density is completely different. And then this person decides, or maybe felt like this way their whole life. It's like, hey, I'm actually a woman. Now I want to go ahead and smash these women apart. Yo, well, cool. Remember Dave Chappelle had a stand up about this. He goes, cool. Well, how about fucking LeBron James says, I'm a woman today, and he goes to the WNBA and scores 782 points.
Yeah.
How's that fair to women?
Yeah, how is that supposed to work out? Like Fallon Fox was an MMA fighter. She lived 30 years of her life as a male and training in MMA.
A very lackluster male MMA fighter too, by the way, and goes into the women's division and starts smashing.
Literally smashing, like hurting, injuring, putting her fists into these women's faces. And part of the story was that some of these women didn't even know that she was
and they were
trans.
like, what the fuck?
Yeah, afterwards, it's like, how is that fair competition?
Yeah.
You know? And how is that even, like, how is that not abuse?
Yeah.
Either.
And nobody who is on that side is arguing that Fallon Fox is a woman.
Yeah.
You're a woman, but you benefited from being a male for 30 years of your life.
Yeah.
And this is highly evident in Fallon Fox's male MMA career, where Fallon Fox was not that good.
Yeah.
And even as a female MMA artist, not that good either. But the strength was the equalizer.
Yeah.
Right. Fallon Fox did lose as a female MMA fighter to somebody who was more skilled, but that was very few and far between. But that just goes to show the skill level wasn't there. So yeah, it's possible that Fallon Fox could lose. But when you look at Fallon Fox as a male MMA fighter, at the time when she was a he was not that good. He was very mediocre.
Right.
But comes onto the female scene and starts wrecking these women.
Serious injuries.
Yeah.
Like, this is like really high stakes sport too. Like it just like, wow, it just didn't feel right at all. You know, it's just, you're really hurting these people.
Yeah. It's like, I wonder,
a fair competition would have been a transgender weight class.
Yeah. That would be kind of dope.
Yeah. Then that's fair competition. Then I get it. Or even like with this Olympic thing, this New Zealand powerlifter, she made it through because she was taking testosterone blockers, right?
Yeah.
Or like whatever hormone pills that, you know, allowed her to have the legal amount of testosterone for a female competitor.
Yeah.
You know, meanwhile, there are some of these black women athletes who were disqualified from the Olympics because they had a naturally high testosterone, and they were competing very well, but they won't allow them to compete in the Olympics because of that, because they're telling them now they have to take these testosterone blockers.
Even in MMA, they test for test blockers.
Yeah.
Like if you have a test blocker in you, they assume that you're taking steroids.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, what the fuck is going on here?
What are the rules now?
Yeah.
Now it's all blurred. It's just like in the name of equality, but how is this equal? Yeah. How is this equitable? You know,
yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
And once again, this is all speculation and conversation. If somebody who is, you know, representative of this community wants to explain this in a way that maybe that could help us understand, I'm all fucking ears for it. Right.
Yeah.
But it's hard to argue for this from my perspective. Right.
Yeah.
Just because I've seen, we know the science, we know what it's like behind it.
The simplest way for me to see it would be because there's a male division and a female division, there should be a trans division. Then that is fair, is it not? Or is the argument on the other side that's segregation, that is bigotry, that is
it could be more, definitely. It's just a really, I don't even know what to think about it, right? Because I haven't been in a position where I had to think about it. So I really don't know. And I don't think a majority of people
know, guys. We don't.
I think a majority of people haven't been in this position at all. This is still relatively new.
Yeah. So if you guys, can, see what we're doing, we're asking questions. We're saying how, we're asking why.
Yeah.
And we're trying to figure out the answers too. We don't have conclusive answers.
Yeah. I have a gut feeling about how I feel about it now, right? It might change in a few years from now.
For sure.
But as of right now, do I feel that a person who identifies as a woman but still has male genitalia should be allowed to expose herself to women? I don't think that should be discussed.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's a clear general rule of saying yes. And because you disagree with that, suddenly you are anti-trans. I don't think that's fair. I think that's a non-equivalency.
Yeah.
I think those are two separate issues. Yeah. Right? Do I feel that somebody who's been a male for 30 years that has benefited from having male testosterone, the bone structure, the muscle density, should be able to go in a cage and fight another woman who has been a woman her whole life? I don't think that's fair.
Yeah.
And I don't think the women who don't want to compete against a woman who went through that procedure should be forced to fight them.
And you see people who make the argument like for them are people who don't know a goddamn thing about combat sports either. But then they're gung-ho about trans rights. It's like, we're on that side too. People should have equal rights. But then when it comes to an extracurricular competitive,
where somebody could die?
Someone can die. It's like, that's another story.
Yeah. I'm so curious.
I mean, speaking of trans too, we were going to talk about that guy, Oli London.
Oh yeah.
Those lines not blurred. Like, come on, transracial things.
Transracial is probably one of the funniest phrases I've ever heard in my fucking life, dude. Like, literally, it's the funniest thing. And you know why the whole topic of being transracial is fucking stupid? It's because now you are giving people that the people who talked about the slippery slope argument.
Yeah.
Right? Now it's just becoming true. They go, it was like a joke before.
Yeah.
It's like, well, what if I was transracial? I'm like, that's fucking stupid. Nobody thinks they're transracial. Rachel Dolezal comes out.
Yeah.
Fuck this bitch.
She was the NAACP president in Spokane, Washington.
What kind of Dave Chappelle sketch is this, dude?
Yeah.
Dude, Rachel Dolezal is probably one of the purest whites I've ever seen in my life. She's as white gets.
Did you see her college photo?
Dude, she looks like a Puritan.
Pale. Yeah.
She looks like if she wanted butter, she had to churn it in the morning.
Yeah.
Like, that's how fucking white she is.
So she came out as an advocate for this guy, Oli London. Did you want to explain who Oli London is?
So Oli London is a transracial Korean.
I mean, you just said it straight up, but it's so funny.
Yeah.
I mean, yo, how?
How are we discussing this?
Yeah.
Right?
Dude, you see this guy's TikTok? Like, okay, so this guy's had a bunch of plastic surgery to look Korean. He doesn't even fucking look Korean at all. So he got this eye surgery.
He looks like a 40-year-old woman in Hollywood.
Yeah. He's just got that fucking duck face.
Yeah.
And then he made this TikTok where he goes, Korean check. And he brings the camera in and points at his fucking eyes.
Holy shit, dude. The most racist fucking thing you could ever do, you fucking piece of shit.
Dude, yeah, what the fuck?
What is the argument with people who are transracial? They're saying that it's like, I was born as a Korean.
He goes, 안녕하세요. 쟤는 지민입니다. Like, oh my God, you can't even speak Korean.
What the fuck what are these people talking about?
Yeah, you want to be Korean, bro? Go to the fucking DMZ and serve your 2 years.
Yeah.
I'll respect you then.
You want to be Korean for the next 10 years? I'm going to have to yell at you for doing good things.
Yeah. Well, we're just going to tell you you're not enough.
Yeah.
For the rest of your life.
And by the way, us yelling at you and calling you stupid for being transracial is probably the most Korean thing that we could do to you. That is. So you just have to take the fucking abuse. When you come home, anytime you do something wrong, you have to go on your knees, beg for forgiveness, and the burokuro for fucking an hour straight.
Yeah. Like, you have not even lived the life of being Korean, but he's like, I've always identified as Korean for the last 8 years. What? How? I bet this motherfucker can't even eat kimchi. You know?
I know. Here's the thing: the difference between, and that's the thing too. I'm so curious about what a trans person in transgendered person wants to. I want a transgendered person and a transracial person to have a conversation, right? Because the idea between somebody who is transgendered, for me, that makes sense, is that since the day that they were born, or they were cognizant of what their gender was, they never felt like they were in the right skin.
Yeah.
This motherfucker listened to HOT once. I was like, holy shit, I am as a Korean.
Yeah. That's the thing. If you say I've felt Korean for the last 8 years, not like from when you were born. So that's the thing. How do you know that you've been Korean like from when you were a child? Like you don't know that shit.
Yeah.
You know? So it's so fucking ridiculous. Like where do we even start? Where do we, without, you know, like have a serious conversation like we just had for the past however many minutes?
Yeah.
How do you have a serious conversation about this motherfucker? You know, it's like, no.
Dude, I'm literally gonna, if I ever see this dude in person, I'm gonna fucking bend him over and I'm gonna spank him.
Yeah.
With a fucking bamboo stick.
Like, how many years have you missed out on this
I was
shit?
like, bro, you gotta pay your dues now, dude. You 100% have to pay your dues. I want you to go to the wall and then put your hands up for fucking an hour for doing something wrong.
Yeah, you have to feel like you're never enough. You have to be a perfectionist. Like you have to have all this resentment towards your parents.
I'm gonna punch you in the face and ask you why you're crying.
Yeah. You have to be threatened, you know, with your life. You know, you're gonna say "죽을래," you know, every day of your life. Yeah.
Like, what is this shit? What kind of world do we fucking live in now, dude? Where this person absolutely believes that he's in the right, and that everybody else is now a bigot because they won't allow him to think that he's Korean. You could think that you're Korean as much as you want, but the fact that you expect us to accept it is another fucking story.
Narcissism.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. Like if you look at his social media page, he's putting up all press, bad press.
Doesn't matter.
Like, it doesn't matter.
Give me attention.
Attention, right? His 15 minutes will be up. Mm-hmm. And now what? Your eyes are all fucking chinky. Yeah. You know, now what the fuck are you going to do?
Yeah. In the shittiest fucking way possible too, you fucking shit. It was so weird looking at this thing. I was like, we're living in Netflix's Black Mirror series.
Yeah.
This is literally what it is. The fact that somebody, and Rachel Dolezal's over here just bitch, just disappear. Like, what the fuck? Why are you chiming back in? Nobody fucking likes you. Shut the fuck up.
It's amazing that she's still out there. Like, I thought she was gone.
Did you watch the docuseries about her? You know, the people who suffer the most in the Rachel Dolezal conflict is her children. Oh, because her children are actually mixed race. Their father's black. Right? But they're getting made fun of and ridiculed every day.
Did they even know their mom was white?
I don't even. Oh, that's a really good question.
Did her husband know that she was actually white?
Oh shit! I didn't even wonder that.
Yeah.
I don't. Maybe they didn't.
That's what's kind of crazy and fucked up. I mean, so she was adopted, right, into a black family, and then she went to like Howard University.
Or something. Oh shit, I can't remember. I'm not sure if she was adopted into a black family or maybe she had black relatives or something.
I know she has like a black stepbrother or like
something like that. There you go. Yeah.
And he's the one that exposed her for being white. He was just like, I've had enough of this shit.
It's like, bitch, you're fucking white. Like, what are you talking about? And then I think she took photos of some random black man and said that that's her father.
What? Oh my God, transparent.
Yeah, it's like, yo, what the fuck, Joe, daddy? What the fuck are you talking about?
Oh my God.
But it's the
lengths they go to.
Yeah.
For what? For attention?
Yeah. I really want to know, like, because let's say if Rachel Dolezal was here, right, and I would ask her a question, it's like, what is the purpose of this?
Yeah.
Like, you know, you're white, right? Is there something wrong about that? Is there something wrong that you're fucking white? It's like, my whole life. It can't be your whole life that you felt like this.
Yeah.
Right? Because there had to be a moment. Yeah. There had to be a moment where you were like, white ain't right. And you were like, I'm fucking black.
Yeah. And then, I mean, it's crazy how many people she duped. I mean, because she became the NAACP president.
Yeah. She set her goals fucking high.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Because that would be great if let's say, I don't know, fucking George Floyd one day when he was getting fucking murdered, he was like, I identify as white.
Yeah,
treat me better. Stop killing me. That would be great if somebody could have done that. You know what I mean? Like there's definitely some social repercussions involved when you do shit like this, right? This guy, and here's like the annoying thing about the whole Oli London guy, who nobody knows who the fuck you are, right?
Yeah.
And the reason why people know you is because of this bullshit that you're pulling. Here's the other annoying thing about it too. People really forget when Asian people were just made fun of for liking Asian shit.
Right.
And this person gets to hop on this wave and he goes, I get to be Asian now.
Makes sense now in the past 8 years. Like the past decade, Korean shit got really hot.
Really popular.
Yeah.
Were you doing that fucking 20 years ago when it wasn't cool?
Yeah.
When Asian people were getting made fun of left and right for the food that we were eating, where it wasn't cool to fucking go to a pho place. It was considered dirty food.
Yeah.
I guarantee you weren't talking about that shit.
Yeah.
I guarantee you weren't saying, you know what? I feel like I'm Korean. You feel that way because now it's cool. You see people like fucking BTS, you know, doing McDonald's brand deals and shit. You see them, you know, charting the fucking our Billboard 100s.
Yeah.
And now it's highly how convenient in the last 8 years you felt like you were Korean.
Fucking guy thinks he's gonna get a Wendy's menu made out of him.
I know, you piece of shit.
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself, dude. You literally are making a mockery of our culture. And here's the annoying thing too, right? The stuff that says that makes him Korean is only the commercialized stuff.
Right.
It's K-pop. That's not what it is to be Korean.
And even K-pop is not even the best representation of us.
It's the worst.
This extreme fucking crazy lights and makeup and camera show.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like, that's another thing. This motherfucker hasn't lived through the resentment of how cool Asian shit is when we used to be made fun of it.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard to accept these days. There's a sense of relief, like, and pride that K-pop is not K-pop. Well, not just K-pop, like Ktown even is like so crazy hot and busy. And there's like so many different types of people now enjoying and eating our food. But there's something in the back of my head like, motherfucker, you know, you used to make fun of your classmate for bringing that shit to school, you know?
So I'm saying, it's like he keeps saying like I'm Korean and he goes, my name is Jimin, like fucking a K-pop star's name. You're clearly not Korean. Like you identify as a K-pop weeb.
Yeah.
That's what you identify with. You don't identify with being a Korean person at all, because your view of what it is to be a Korean person is a Korean pop star, the shit that you see on TV.
It's manufactured.
Exactly.
Like, these motherfuckers went through the grinder to become who they are. They're made out of this formula, man.
Yeah.
And you think that's Korean? Like, that's fucked up.
How fucking ridiculous is that, dude? Makes absolutely no sense.
I bet. So Jimin is a BTS member. I bet that's not even his real name either.
It's not. It's not his name.
Yeah.
None of these guys have their actual real fucking name.
Yeah.
Like these HOT members, Kangta's not even his real name.
Right.
It just sounds a lot cooler.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck are these people thinking about, man? I think that's like the annoying thing about when people, they say they love Korean culture. You don't love Korean culture. You like K-pop. I hate that. I fucking hate it. Like, I'm not even too particular about certain stuff, but when people say I love Korean shit, no, you don't. You like the commercialized Korean garbage that you're fucking fed. You don't know shit about me. You don't know shit about my culture. You don't know shit about what it's like to get socked in the face for no reason.
Like, you don't even know it's coming and you just get a fucking knuckle in the back of your head.
Exactly.
What did I do?
You don't know what it's like to tell your dad to stick out his fist and say punch yourself in the face. Like,
it harkens back to my ex, you know, my white ex who was just a really big K-pop fan. And then when she actually started dating me, was actually not into Korean culture at all, you know?
Yeah.
She just liked all the meat and didn't like any of the potatoes, right? Yeah.
That's exactly what it's like. And I think if people kind of could wrap their head around that, that's where it becomes offensive. Where the argument might be, it's like, well, why can't he identify as a Korean person? Nobody's saying that he can't. You could do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
You could say that you're Korean. I could tell you right now that like I said, I'm a fucking dinosaur egg. Yeah. I can say that, doesn't mean that it's true. And it doesn't mean that other people have to accept it and treat you a certain way just because you want them to. Even especially when you're doing something that's highly fucking offensive to a majority of Asian people.
I bet like he's gonna say, I've experienced racism by these two guys.
Yeah. My own people. My own people.
Oh my God.
Shit. Well, guys, that wraps up this episode of the Genius Brain Podcast. If anybody out there has thoughts on this, I'm curious to hear. You might agree or disagree. I'm so curious though.
Yeah. We don't know, man. We don't know.
I have questions and opinions, but I'm so curious about the other side of the argument to that. If you guys have a thought about it, write it in the comments. If you're watching it on YouTube or if you're a part of the Anchor community, go ahead and write those comments and let's have a discussion. You can catch Ed at Ed Park VP everywhere and Genius Brains on Thursdays and Sundays. And we'll see you all next time.
Peace.